Chloe staged the ultimate betrayal, faking a baby to steal the man I loved. She threw a lavish shower with a $2,000 cake, rented swans, and a guest list full of influencers. But I sent one single gift that tore her web of lies apart. And just when you think the story ends there, she launches a redemption podcast, paints herself as the victim, and gains 80,000 followers overnight. But the real twist, a leaked voice memo no one saw coming, and it changes everything.
Things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls. I feel like
My name is Clarissa Bellamy, and if you told me 2 years ago that my own sister would one day pretend to be pregnant with my ex's baby just to trap him, I would have laughed in your face. Chloe? The sweet little sister who used to braid my hair and cry when I left for college? She wouldn't lie about something like that. She wouldn't stab me in the back like that. Would she? But betrayal has a way of slinking in quietly, like a slow leak under the floorboards, undetected until the whole house starts to rot. Let me back up. It all started in August of last year. I had just come out of a messy breakup with Daniel Hayes, tall, charming, frustratingly handsome, and the kind of guy who could sweet-talk a priest into sin. We had been together for almost 3 years. I thought we were headed somewhere serious, maybe even marriage. But Daniel had this thing, a wandering eye, a bad habit of flirting just a little too hard with waitresses and smiling too long at other women. And my gut always knew, always. But I stayed. Because love makes you dumb sometimes. What finally broke us was a lie I caught him in. Plain and simple. He told me he was on a business trip in Chicago. A friend of mine spotted him at a beachfront Airbnb in Miami, definitely not Chicago, with a brunette who was definitely not part of his company. I confronted him. He didn't deny it. Just said, "You've always been too paranoid, Clarissa. I can't live under a microscope." And that was it. I ended things, packed my bags, cried for 2 weeks straight, watched sad movies, ate tubs of pistachio ice cream at 3 a.m. You know, the whole heartbreak starter pack. The only person who didn't seem heartbroken by the split? Chloe. Chloe is 2 years younger than me. She's always been the bubbly, attention-loving one. The kind of girl who enters a room like a bottle of champagne, popping, fizzy, loud. Everyone adores her. Growing up, I was always the brainy one. Chloe was the beauty. I had the grades. She had the glow. And I never thought we were in competition. Until Daniel. 3 weeks after the breakup, Chloe began acting. Different. At first, I didn't notice it. But looking back now, there were signs. She'd come home later than usual, dressed up for someone she wouldn't name. She'd smile at her phone like it was whispering secrets to her. One night, I overheard her giggling on the phone in the living room. I was about to go in and ask if she wanted the last slice of pizza when I heard it. "No, she has no idea. It's better this way. She's moved on anyway." I paused. My stomach tightened. "No, I haven't told her yet. Don't worry, I'll handle it." "Handle what?" I backed away, heart pounding, unsure whether I'd misheard something or if my worst suspicions were brewing. I didn't say anything that night. Or the next. But a pit started growing in my stomach, deep and sour. Then came the bombshell. One morning, Chloe strutted into our shared apartment with the fakest look of guilt I've ever seen smeared on someone's face. "Claire," she said, twisting her hands nervously. "There's something I need to tell you." I waited. "I didn't mean for it to happen, I swear. But Daniel and we've been talking." I blinked. "Talking?" "A little more than that." He reached out after you guys broke up. My heart stilled. And I know it looks bad, but we really connected. He was so hurt after the breakup. And, well, now I'm pregnant. Boom! It hit me like a car crash. No seatbelt, no warning. Just full-blown, window-shattering impact. I sat there staring at her as my entire body went numb. I couldn't even process the fact that my sister, my own flesh and blood, had not only gone behind my back but was now claiming to be carrying my ex-boyfriend's child. Chloe looked at me like she expected sympathy, or forgiveness, or maybe applause for the performance. I didn't cry. Not then. Something colder than tears settled inside me. Something like rage, but sharper, more calculating. I stood up, walked into my room, and slammed the door. And that night I didn't sleep. Something felt off. The timing didn't add up. She was claiming to be 2 months along, which would mean she and Daniel started their little rendezvous almost immediately after he and I broke up. Chloe had never once mentioned being in a relationship, never talked about morning sickness, no doctor's appointments, no signs of pregnancy, nothing. It was like the pregnancy just appeared when she needed a reason for being with him. So I did what any woman with a gut feeling and a nose for drama would do. I started investigating. I began with Chloe's trash. Yeah, I know, gross. But I was desperate. I found nothing. Not a single prenatal vitamin bottle, pregnancy test wrapper, or anything pregnancy related. Her phone was always locked, her laptop password protected. But she wasn't as clever as she thought. One evening, when she left her laptop open in the living room to answer a phone call, I tiptoed over, pretending to grab a glass of water. I wasn't even planning to snoop. But when I passed by, a tab was open in her browser. It read, "How to fake a positive pregnancy test at home." I froze. The next day, I followed her. She said she was going to the OBGYN. I tailed her in my car, incognito, sunglasses, hoodie, and all. But instead of a clinic, she parked in front of a salon and walked in smiling. She stayed there for an hour, came out with her nails done, and texted someone. That was the final straw. She was faking it. I knew it in my bones. But Daniel? That idiot was falling for it, posting pictures of them together on social media, captioning them with crap like "can't wait to be a dad" and "miracles come when you least expect them." It made me want to scream. But I didn't. I played it cool. Said nothing. Just watched and waited. Until I got the invitation. A pink and gold envelope slid under my bedroom door one morning. On the front, "You're invited to Chloe's baby shower." Inside, it was dripping with glitter and Pinterest-style charm. The theme, "Little angel on the way." The audacity. That was when the idea hit me. If Chloe wanted to fake a pregnancy to trap my ex, fine. But she wasn't going to ride off into the sunset without consequences. If she wanted a baby shower, she was going to get one. Just not the one she expected. So I started planning. Carefully, quietly, gathering things, making calls, putting the perfect gift together. A gift that would ruin everything. The day of the baby shower was as fake as the pregnancy it was celebrating. Everything was pastel-colored and picture-perfect. Chloe had rented out the Lilac Loft, a charming little event space in Brighton that usually hosted bridal showers and yoga brunches. Now it was crawling with faux excitement, smiling faces, and a giant banner that read, "Welcome, baby Hayes," in glittery cursive letters. I walked in wearing a pale yellow sundress and a frozen smile, clutching a square silver-wrapped box like it contained nothing but love and good wishes. But inside, Oh, it was a ticking time bomb of truth. Before we get to that, let me paint you the scene. There was a mimosa bar, a build your own cupcake station, scented candles at every table. Everyone was buzzing about how beautiful Chloe looked, how lucky she was, how glowing she was. And Chloe? She basked in it. She floated around the room like she was royalty, cradling her flat stomach as if it held the Messiah himself. And then there was Daniel. He looked like a man reborn. Gone was the cocky playboy smirk I had grown used to. He looked grounded, at peace, delusional. He kept touching Chloe's lower back like she was porcelain, whispering things in her ear that made her giggle like a Disney villain. It was honestly nauseating. Clarissa, Chloe chirped when she saw me. You made it! Of course, I said, plastering on a sweet smile. Wouldn't miss it for the world. We hugged. Her perfume was sugary sweet and made my stomach turn. I got you something special, I added, lifting the box slightly. Ooh, can I open it now? I shook my head gently. Wait for the gift opening. I want everyone to see it. She gave me a confused look, then nodded, turning to greet another guest. I made my way to the gift table, set the box right in the center, and stepped back. The countdown had begun. The shower dragged on with unbearable cheer. There were baby name games, predictions about the baby's weight, and even a guess the due date board. I watched from my corner, sipping on something non-alcoholic and barely listening. I thought I'd feel nervous. I didn't. I felt calm, steady, like I was holding a loaded deck and nobody else knew the rules of the game. Then finally it was time. Let's open gifts, someone shouted, and the room clapped like we were about to watch fireworks. Chloe took her seat at the center of the room, a mountain of presents beside her. She beamed like the Queen of England. One by one, she opened onesies, tiny shoes, diaper bags, and baby books. She oohed and ahed and gave out hugs like candy. Then her hands landed on my gift. This one's from Clarissa, she said with a grin. I could feel the shift in the room. Everyone turned toward me. She peeled back the silver wrapping, lifted the lid, and froze. Her smile faltered, then collapsed entirely. Inside the box sat a baby doll, one of those creepy, lifelike ones, with a voice chip that cried when touched. A fake sonogram I had printed online, dated to 2 years ago, with the caption, "Lie detector not detected," across the image. A pack of pads and tampons, brightly colored, neon, impossible to miss. And on top of it all, a custom card that read, "For when the truth comes out, and Aunt Flo visits unexpectedly. Congrats on your imaginary baby." Gasps echoed through the room. The color drained from Chloe's face. Her hands trembled. Daniel leaned over, staring at the contents in confusion, his brow furrowed. What? What is this?" he asked, turning to her. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I I don't know. She's lying. This is a joke. She's trying to ruin this for me." "She?" he asked, pointing at me. "Clarissa?" I stepped forward, my voice calm but loud enough for everyone to hear. "You're not pregnant, Chloe. You never were. No doctor appointments, no tests, no symptoms, just some internet searches and a craving for attention." Whispers buzzed like hornets around the room. Daniel stood. "Is this true?" Chloe's eyes darted between him, me, and the horrified guests. "No, I swear I just didn't want to say anything until the second trimester." "Second trimester?" I snapped. "You said you were 2 months along 3 months ago." Another gasp. Her lie was unraveling in real time. Daniel looked like he'd been punched. His shoulders stiffened. You lied about this? You lied about a baby? I had to, she shrieked. You were going to leave me. You were going to move to LA for that new job, and I panicked. Oh my God, he muttered, backing away from her. You manipulated me. You used a fake pregnancy to keep me here. Now the room was dead silent. Chloe looked around, realizing there was no saving it. Her cheeks flushed deep red. Her hands shook. Then suddenly her eyes locked on me, cold, furious. You think you're better than me, she snapped, pointing. You always have. This is what you wanted, right? To humiliate me? To get back at me for Daniel? I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The truth was louder than anything I could say. Daniel walked out first, leaving her sitting among the shredded wrapping paper and fake glittery joy. One by one, guests followed, awkwardly muttering excuses. Within 10 minutes, the room was nearly empty. Only Chloe and I remained. She stood slowly, brushing cupcake crumbs off her lap. You just ruined my life. No, I said, lifting my purse. You ruined your own life. I just sent a gift to match the occasion. And with that, I walked out. After the baby shower disaster, Chloe disappeared. Literally. No texts, no calls, no dramatic Instagram stories. She ghosted everyone, especially me. I'd half expected her to show up at my apartment with a bat or a lawsuit, but she didn't. She vanished like the baby she never had. But the aftershocks. Oh, they were delicious. The gossip spread faster than wildfire. Within 2 days, everyone in Brighton knew about the fake baby fiasco. Moms from her yoga class blocked her. Her influencer friends unfollowed. Her sponsored brand deals, what little she had, evaporated overnight. One even posted, "We stand with women's health and honesty. We no longer endorse Chloe Hayes." I never smiled so wide while brushing my teeth. Still, I wasn't stupid. I knew the worst was yet to come. Chloe had been publicly humiliated, and if I knew my sister, she was building a revenge plan minute by minute. But what could she do, really? Out me for telling the truth? Meanwhile, Daniel had gone into hiding too. I heard through a mutual friend that he'd finally taken the job in Los Angeles. Apparently, he'd left the day after the baby shower, suitcase packed, ring off, and phone number changed. Burned bridges behind him. And as much as I told myself I didn't care, he was my ex, after all. I couldn't shake the image of him storming out. The betrayal in his eyes. The way his voice cracked when he said, "You manipulated me." I knew what it felt like to be manipulated by Chloe. That was our childhood. That was our whole dynamic. But Daniel had never tasted it until now. I wanted to talk to him, to say, "I warned you." Or maybe just, "I'm sorry it ended like this." But I didn't. I let it rest. Until he texted me. "Thank you for the baby shower gift." I blinked at the screen. Was this sarcasm? A trap? I typed and deleted a dozen replies before finally settling on, "Me. Glad someone appreciated it." A minute passed, then 2, then 3. My phone pinged again. It's Daniel. "Can we talk, face to face?" he asked. My heart stuttered. We hadn't been alone in the same room since the breakup. Since the night he told me he was better off without me and then moved in with my sister less than 2 weeks later. Why now? But curiosity and something else I didn't want to name. One. Me. Name the place. We met at a quiet coffee shop just outside town. Neutral territory, somewhere far from the echo of Chloe's name. He looked different, tired but clearer somehow, like a man who'd finally scrubbed the fog off the mirror. "Hey." he said as I slid into the booth across from him. Hey. Silence. Then he exhaled and said, I owe you an apology. Now that I hadn't expected. I was an idiot, he continued. You told me something wasn't right. You told me Chloe wasn't who I thought she was. But I was so blinded by what I wanted to believe, I couldn't see it. I folded my arms. And what exactly did you want to believe? That maybe I hadn't ruined everything with you, that if I moved on fast enough, pretended it never happened, maybe I wasn't the bad guy. There it was. He wasn't just apologizing for Chloe, he was apologizing for us. I didn't fake a pregnancy to trap you, I said coldly. I just loved you. That was my crime. He nodded, looking down at his untouched coffee. I know, and I'm sorry. We sat there in that heavy silence, one part grief, two parts closure. And then he asked the question I didn't see coming. Why didn't you say something sooner about the pregnancy lie? I tilted my head. Would you have believed me? His lips parted, then closed again. Exactly. I had to let her walk you into a mess you wouldn't have left otherwise, I added. You needed to feel it yourself, not be warned, not be rescued. He nodded slowly. And now I can't even look at her. I feel used and disgusting. You feel like me, I said quietly. The moment hung there, raw, uncomfortable, but real. I don't want to get back together, he blurted. I didn't ask you to. But I want to be in your life again, in any capacity, as a friend, or someone who brings coffee, or someone you yell at when you're having a bad day. I stared at him, and to my own surprise, I said, okay. Maybe it was closure. Maybe it was curiosity. Or maybe deep down I wasn't done punishing Chloe, because what could be worse for her than seeing the two people she betrayed rebuild something she tried to destroy? Later that week, I got the call from my mom. Clarissa, she said breathlessly. Chloe's in the hospital. I froze. What? Why? She overdosed. Not seriously. Some pills. It wasn't lethal, but it was enough to scare her friend, who found her passed out. My stomach dropped. Is she okay? They're keeping her for observation. The doctors think it might have been a cry for help or attention. Of course, always the performance, but still. She was my sister. And this wasn't about Daniel or me. This was her spiraling into a pit of lies and desperation. I visited the next day. Chloe looked like a ghost, pale, hair macy, mascara smudged like a tragic movie character. When I entered, she stared at me and said, Are you here to finish the job? No, I said, pulling up a chair. I'm here because I don't want you to die. Even if I hate you, I don't want that. She scoffed. Well, congratulations, you won. I lost everything. You lost it the moment you decided to fake a baby? I said sharply. I just lit the match on the paper castle you built. I didn't know what else to do, she whispered. Everyone always loves you more. You're always the smart one, the strong one, the one who gets everything right. I just wanted to win something. For once. You don't win love by stealing it, I said. She looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. Do you think I'm a monster? I thought for a moment. No, I said honestly. I think you're a sad little girl who never learned how to love without manipulating people. And I think until you fix that, you'll keep losing. She didn't speak again, just stared out the window as I got up to leave. At the door, I said, Get help, Chloe. Not for me. Not for Daniel. For yourself. Then I walked out. Again. Only this time there was no anger in my step, just relief. And the faintest, tiniest flicker of hope. 3 months passed. The dust had settled, though the bruises remained. Not the physical kind, but the invisible ones. The scars you carry under your skin where no one can see them, but you feel them every day. I wasn't sure what I expected after Chloe's breakdown, but I'd been secretly hoping she'd vanish quietly into the shadows, get help, and maybe grow up. But if there's one thing Chloe Hayes never did, it was vanish. She came back, with dyed platinum blonde hair, a new PR agent, and a redemption podcast called Broken But Not Buried. And just like that, the narrative shifted. She wasn't the villain anymore. She was the misunderstood sister, the desperate girl who just wanted love and made a few bad choices. Her first episode opened with dramatic piano music, and her soft, shaky voice saying, "Sometimes the lies we tell are just cries for the love we were denied." I nearly threw my phone across the room. In the second episode, she mentioned me by name. My sister Clarissa, she always got everything. The grades, the attention, the moral high ground. And maybe I resented her more than I should have. But I never hated her. I just wanted to be enough. She didn't mention the fake pregnancy. She didn't mention Daniel. She didn't mention the gift that detonated the truth. Convenient. I didn't respond publicly. I didn't want to feed the flame she was clearly fanning. But people started to reach out. Old friends, even strangers. Is it true what she said? Was she really trying to trap your ex? Why are you so quiet? Because I was done. Done playing the role of the responsible one. Done explaining myself to people who only cared for gossip. Done cleaning up after Chloe. But then one afternoon, Daniel called. "I think you should hear something," he said. "In private." We met again, same coffee shop. This time the air between us felt different. Less tense. Almost familiar. He slid his phone across the table. A voice memo. 30 minutes long. He said nothing, just gestured for me to listen. I pressed play. It was Chloe's voice. Not the fake, broken podcast Chloe. The real one. The one I knew all too well. She was talking to someone, her PR agent, I guessed, about strategy, how to spin the narrative, how to milk the sympathy angle. "I'm not saying I didn't mess up," she said. "But Clarissa can't have the last word. She can't just expose me and get away with it. I need people to see me as the victim, the misunderstood sister. If I cry in the right places, post dramatically, they'll eat it up." The agent hesitated. "What about the pregnancy?" Chloe laughed. "Please, no one actually thinks I was pregnant. But if they do, great. Sympathy is currency, and I'm about to be rich." The blood drained from my face. Daniel watched me silently, letting it all sink in. "She sent this to someone by accident," he said. "An old friend of mine. Thought it was a voice note to her assistant. Instead, it went to my buddy Ryan. He sent it to me." I was quiet. Then I said, "We release it." He shook his head. "Number, that's what she wants. Another war. More eyes, more attention." "Then what do we do?" He leaned forward. "We ignore her, and we live. That's the best revenge, Clarissa. Not exposure, not public takedowns, just peace." I didn't realize until that moment how badly I needed to hear that. He was right. Let her chase followers and fake tears. Let her podcast become a Netflix doc someday. I wanted real life. That evening, I walked along the Brighton Pier alone. The sea breeze tangled my hair, and the sun dipped behind clouds in a perfect watercolor blur. I thought of Chloe, of who we used to be. Sisters with matching backpacks and secret handshakes. Before boys, before lies, before all the wounds that grew roots. I knew we'd never go back to that. But maybe, just maybe, I could go forward. Not with her, but with myself. Daniel and I stayed in touch. We didn't rush anything. No grand declarations. Just honest conversations, quiet coffee dates, laughter that felt unforced. For the first time in years, I stopped waking up with a knot in my stomach. I stopped watching my back. I started writing again. I adopted a cat named Olive who scratched my couch and slept on my face. I was healing. And Chloe? She kept podcasting, kept spinning. But eventually, even that fizzled. Her audience got tired of tears with no truth, of redemption arcs with no redemption, of tragedy without transformation. Last I heard, she moved to Arizona. Or maybe Austin. Somewhere far, somewhere sunny. I hope she finds peace. But I won't be watching. Because some baby showers bring balloons and cupcakes. And some bring the truth wrapped in pink ribbon and a bib that says, "Nice try."